In today's video, we're going to be testing 3 of these gaming headsets to determine if paying the higher price tag for these more premium models is actually worth it or not. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome to Zach's Tech Turf. Today we have 3 pretty high-end gaming headsets, and we're going to be determining if paying the higher premium price tag is actually worth it, or if we should stick to my personal favorite $50 to $70 price range. And if you're new here and you want to see other videos just like this one, then hit that subscribe button down below and also that notification bell. That way you never miss an episode. But before we get into it, a quick word from today's video sponsor, my Instagram account. Over on my Instagram at Zach's Tech Turf, I post all of the normal pictures that you would expect on an IG account, but what I also do is vlog literally every single day over there on my IG stories. I literally take my phone with me all day, every day, and record myself, and this is a great way to see all the behind the scenes stuff or just my personal day-to-day activities, and lately I've been taking it up a level with some pretty sick edits. Once again, that's instagram.com/Zach's Tech Turf. Be sure to go follow me over there. All right, back to these headsets. All right, so before I start my mini reviews on these headsets, I have a couple of disclaimers. I am not an esport athlete or an audiophile. Seriously, this is important. The point of view that you're going to be getting from this video is from a very casual gamer that does not have a well-trained ear. I'm the type of person that's far more into comfortability, durability, and the aesthetics, so just keep that in mind and don't expect me to tell you about any fancy audio opinions and whatnot. So with that being said, let's do a quick tour over these 3 premium headsets just so we can see what we're working with today. The first one up is the Corsair Void RGB Elite Wireless, and this is our cheapest model, which is honestly somewhat of a mid-range headset depending on who you ask. It's currently rocking an Amazon price of $75, features 7.1 surround sound and 50mm drivers, and here's some more specs for those of you interested in that. The next headset we have up is the Turtle Beach Elite Atlas Aero. This thing is brand new and comes in at a current Amazon price of $120. This one is also rocking 50mm drivers, but instead of 7.1 surround sound, it's rocking Waves NX 3D audio, which we'll talk about a bit later. Finally, the last headset is definitely rocking a premium price tag. This is the Audio-Technica ATH G1WL, and it's currently sitting on Amazon for a whopping $200. This one has a 7.1 surround sound, 45mm drivers, and here are the remaining specs that you may or may not need to know. All right, so with the introductions out of the way, I want to start comparing and contrasting these different models, knowing that the Corsair Void RGB Elite is at the cheaper end, and these scale all the way up to the very premium price tag of the Audio-Technicas. The first category that I think worth mentioning is durability, because if you're gonna pay a premium for a gaming headset, it better be built like a tank and not break the first time you throw it against the wall. The Corsair Void RGB Elite is actually pretty sturdy despite the cheaper price tag. It's rocking a mix of both metal and plastic, but it has metal around the more important parts, so in my opinion, it feels pretty safe. The Elite Atlas Aero is rocking mostly plastic, which isn't always a bad thing, but the plastic on here actually feels kind of cheap and definitely doesn't give off the feeling that you're holding an expensive gaming headset. And for the $200 Audio-Technicas, this one is also rocking a mix of metal and plastic, but unlike the plastic on the Turtle Beaches, the plastic in this one actually feels way more sturdy, and I think I can physically feel the amount of extra money that went into making this headset. The next category up is comfort, and this is definitely an important factor as there's really not that many headsets on the market that I can personally stand on my head for more than an hour or so. We'll start with the Corsair Void RGB Elite again. I guess we'll just stick with this order, and for comfort, I am definitely not a fan of this headset. I don't think it's designed for people that have smaller heads like I do apparently, because the clamping power, let me put this on, the clamping power is so much stronger on the top compared to the bottom, so this headset kind of feels like it's hanging off like this. Not a fan. Next up is the Turtle Beach, and although this one is on the heavy side and the clamping pressure is a bit more tighter than I prefer, they are indeed comfortable because they feel like they're locked in and adjusted perfectly so you can't hear anything other than your game. I believe after they loosen up a bit from general use, they will indeed be very comfortable to use. And next up are the Audio-Technicas, and I don't think this has anything to do with the money that was spent into this, but these are by far the most comfortable pair of gaming headsets that I own in my entire studio. It's super lightweight and it has the perfect amount of clamping power, and the ear cups are made of a mix between mesh and plush, which feels absolutely perfect in my opinion. Next up, we get to the I/O side of things, and here's where things get really mixed up in terms of price. The much cheaper Corsair headset has by far the best I/O setup out of all three of these headsets. It has very big and easy to press buttons here on the side, and the volume rocker is big and it has a big notch right here, so it's very easy to switch the volume on the go and very quickly. The Elite Atlas Arrows have a pretty good setup as well. There's 2 buttons and 2 dials, but they're actually remappable with their software, so you can customize them how you want, which is pretty neat. And then we get to the Audio Technicas, and this is probably the worst I/O setup that I've ever seen on a gaming headset. In my opinion, this is absolute garbage. All of these buttons and dials are incredibly difficult to use because they are so tiny, and I literally have to take the headset off every time I need to make an adjustment. Next up, we get to aesthetics, and since this is more of a subjective category, I'm not going to take too much time. The Corsair Void RGB Elites, I don't like the aesthetics of them. I really just don't like the shape of the ear cup, and I never have. But other than that, I think the headset looks pretty clean. As far as the Turtle Beaches go, these are just way too gamery and big in my opinion. I don't like how far they stick off outside of your head, but I do like the stealthed out color design. And then as far as the Audio Technicas go, I really like the color scheme of this. The black and blue just looks so good. But I hate how the headband looks with all of this exposed metal and the exposed wire. I just don't like any of these. I don't know, these are just my opinions. Maybe I'm too picky, but in my opinion, the Corsair HS70s that I reviewed like 2 years ago are still the best looking gaming headset on the market right now, in my opinion. And finally, before getting into probably the most important factors, the microphone and gaming audio quality, I want to quickly mention the method of muting because this is also very important to me personally. The Corsair Void RGB Elite actually has 2 methods. You can either press the button on the side, which you'll probably end up accidentally hitting the power button sometimes, or you can slide up the microphone, which is much easier to do. When you mute the mic, the red light actually illuminates, but it's only on the outside, so you can't even see this, so I'm not quite sure what the point is. Next up is the Elite Atlas Arrow, and for this one, there's also either the button press, or you can just completely remove the microphone, which is what I personally like. And finally, the Audio Technicas have a tiny toggle switch, which like I already said, I absolutely hate, but good thing you can also completely remove the microphone because that's the way that I'll be doing it. So next up, we have the microphone quality, and for this test, I kind of have a feeling that we're gonna see the price scale up with the microphone quality. And for this test, I'm just gonna read the same thing wearing all of these headsets, and then I'll give my opinions after the test.
Okay, so this is the first microphone test. This is the Corsair Void RGB Elite, and this is what it's currently sounding like. Make sure you guys are following me over on Instagram at Zach's Tech Turf. Like I said in the intro of this video, I record on there every single day on my IG stories. It's a really good way to see what's going on behind the scenes. Make sure you're following me over there. And for our second microphone test, this is the Turtle Beach Elite Atlas Arrow, and this is what it currently sounds like. Make sure you guys are also following me over on Twitter at Zach's Tech Turf. I try to post all of the relevant PC hardware deals. I don't make it too spammy. I select and choose which ones I think are the best, so make sure you're following me over there as well. And finally, this is the third and final microphone test. This is the Audio Technica ATH G1WLs, and this is what it's sounding like. Also, make sure you're following me over on twitch.tv/ZachsTechTurf. I haven't been live streaming over there ever since I had the baby, but he's starting to sleep a little bit more now, so I will indeed be back on that platform here very soon. Make sure you're following me over there.
So after hearing that, in my opinion, all 3 of these headsets actually sound very good, but I do think that the price scales up directly with the quality of the microphone. The Audio Technica ATH G1WL honestly sounds like I can make YouTube videos with it. It's kind of hard to tell that the sound is coming from a gaming headset because it sounds so clean. I was also pleasantly surprised with the Elite Atlas Arrow. The sound from the microphone is almost as good. And finally, we get to the gaming sound quality test, and so far for this video, I can't really say that paying a premium double or triple price tag is worth it or not. All 3 of these headsets are actually trading blows with each other, but for this test, which is the final test, here's where you can truly see the extra money put into making these gaming headsets. First, we'll start with the Corsair headset, and for just 75 bucks, honestly, I think this one sounded pretty good, but subjectively good. I'm personally a big Call of Duty guy, and I really like big bass for the explosions and gunfire, and it almost feels like this headset was crafted exactly for that. It sounds great, but I have a feeling that audiophiles won't find it special or anything. Next up, we get to the the Turtle Beach Elite Atlas Aero, and like I said in the comfort section, I really like how these lock you in and you feel ready to go and ready to game. You can't hear anything, especially when I'm just talking like this, but in my opinion, the quality of the sound and the surround sound just didn't sound that good. It felt a little bit tinny and you couldn't really hear the sound depth, if that makes any sense. Finally, the last test and last headphone is the ATH G1WL, and here's where I finally discovered why premium headsets are indeed worth the money. The quality of the sound in general, but most importantly, the surround sound quality was on a completely new level with this headset. This was literally the last test that I conducted, and up until this point, I thought the point of this video was going to be that the premium price of a gaming headset isn't worth it, but I was just completely blown away by the sound quality and the surround sound quality of this headset. The directional audio was fantastic and super responsive, and now I completely see the need for a competitive gamer to pay extra money for a premium gaming headset thanks to the very premium price of the Audio-Technicas. Overall, all three of these gaming headsets are indeed high quality products, but in my opinion, this video does prove that the more expensive pairs are better than their cheaper counterparts. This isn't to say that spending more money on a headset will always grant you a better headset, that's just how it happened to work out in today's testing. Well, that wraps up my testing to determine if paying the premium price tag on a gaming headset is actually worth it or not. And for today's testing, it definitely was. As always, drop a comment down below about what you thought of this testing or what other gaming headset you want to see me review next. After that, feel free to head on over to one of these two videos if you haven't seen them yet, and definitely hit that subscribe button, because coming up next, we have another gaming PC build guide, but most importantly, a very big announcement. You don't want to miss that video.